Welcome to HOWSTUFFINMYCARWORKS channel. Today's video is about replacing the window motor on this 4th generation Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. This Trans Am was built in 1993, but these tips will be similar for all the other 4th generation Firebirds, whether they're the Formula, the Trans Am, or even the stock Firebird, as long as they are in the 4th generation category. So let's get started. First step obviously is to remove the door panel to gain access to the window motor. And the first item that needs to be removed is this cover right here. So it has the screw. So just remove the screw and remove the cover. The next step is going to be to remove this cover right here. So it has a Phillips screw. To be able to pull this out, it'll be easier if you pry the switches out like that. And as you pull the cover out, be careful not to break the lock mechanism right there. Here's a closer view right there, to the switch mechanism. Like I said, this cover needs to be removed. So slide this out first. Like I said, so you don't break it, because this slides into the rod for your lock. Then just guide it out of the handle carefully. Same thing, so you don't break it. Last thing you want to do during this process is to break something else when you're trying to repair one thing and then you break something else. You don't want to do that. So then there's a bulb right there, so I'll take it, detach that, and that takes care of that part. So your switches, you can disconnect them for right now. That will be easier to remove the door panel. So they just, connectors just slide out, and that one does for the locks, and same thing for the windows. Slide out. This one does have a clip. Use a small screwdriver or a pick to pry the tab open so you can disconnect the mirror. This is the tab right there. So it needs to be moved to be able to slide the connector out. Next step is to remove this screw right here. Using a Phillips. And before prying the door, there's another screw down here underneath. And that keeps the door handle attached to the door when you pull. There's another Phillips screw down here at the bottom. Remove that one. The door panel from rattling. So once you have removed the trim and the switches, to remove the panel is very simple. You just pull it up and then pull it out. Got your connections out of the panel, and then if you notice, so what keeps it in place are these hooks right there. So once the screws are removed, then just by moving it up, it releases the panel from the door. Okay, so the door panel has been removed, and now the window regulator is going to be held by this nut, this one, and then over here on the side where the window motor is, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 rivets that need to be drilled out. Start by drilling these out first. Use a 1/4" drill bit to drill them, and then just tap them out with a punch. After those are removed, move on to remove these nuts. Now it's going to be necessary to make sure that the window stays in place. This pipe that runs across right there, it's going to be possible to just slide a pry bar and allow the window to rest as the window regulator is removed. You can either choose to do that method, or if you have wedges, soft wedges to put right here in between the door and the window to keep it from moving, that will definitely work better, be more professional. But then again, if you're doing that at home, you may not have such a thing. So, you know, sliding something right there will keep this window from going all the way down. That way you can work from inside this cavity and be able to remove the regulator. Once you have removed the door panel, remove the speaker and disconnect the electrical connection from the window motor. So you just reach from under here so you can disconnect it up here. I'm going to put this pry bar right there to hold the window, because it's going to want to come down pretty soon once I get the other rivet. I'm going to try to hold it. Okay. So right there. So the pry bar will keep the window from wanting to roll down some more. So the next step is obviously to remove these and slide the window regulator out. Once these nuts have been removed, remove this bolt, slide this block that's behind the bolt out so you can slide this channel out, and slide it out of the roller that is right here behind it. This out of the way. This is the track where the roller slides. So these are the tracks where this roller needs to slide out. You know, here's one arm and then the other one follows, and you can see it right in here. So slide them out of the track to be able to remove the regulator. Okay, so once you slide both arms out, you know, just guide the regulator out of the door. Okay, just kind of pay attention as it's coming out. Okay, so just take a look. Okay, this is coming out first, like that, and then this motor is going to come out like that. There it is. So there's the whole assembly, and it has to be installed in the same way to make it easy. You know, you're gonna slide the motor first, and then the regulator after, and obviously slide the rollers into the guide If they're not greased like this one is, make sure you grease the guides so the regulator moves easily. So now it's time to remove the motor from the regulator assembly. So once you have your whole assembly in place on the workbench or any other flat surface, compare it to the new one that you just bought. Make sure it's the same. If it hasn't been replaced before, it's likely that it's going to be held by rivets, so you're going to have to drill them out. Looks like this one was replaced at some point and it went bad again. Not sure what kind of quality this might have been, but the new motor is going to come with screws and nuts to hold it in place instead of rivets. It also comes with larger screws and nuts to hold this part of the regulator to the door in place of the rivets. When you buy a decent quality motor, it's going to come with all that, otherwise you're going to have to put rivets again. So before removing the retaining screws or rivets, this is going to be spring loaded, so it's going to come flying at you. So you want to insert something in there and try to clamp it. You'll probably use both for safety. If you're scared that this may come out and hit you in the eye, then just try to clamp it first and see how it goes. Maybe clamp it on both sides. Use a decent amount of pressure so it doesn't go anywhere. And why not? Safety glasses. Remove the rivets or screws if it's been replaced like this has. Carefully slide the motor out. Try to grab it away from the assembly in case these don't hold, and in case it's still spring loaded. And slide it out. Okay, so it didn't move. So this one's secure, you know, because like I said, this spring loaded right here. So once the old motor has been removed, then just slide the new one position, align the holes, use the screws and nuts that came with it, or rivet it back in place, whatever you want to do. Alright, so obviously once the motor is in place and after the screws are tightened, so remove the locking pliers that were used to keep the regulator from coming undone because of the spring pressure. So go ahead and install it back on the vehicle in the reverse order that was removed. Put all the brackets back on. Make sure that you connect the electrical connector. So once you install the regulator, bolt it down and you connect it, temporarily hook up the switch and roll your window up and down. Make sure it works. If everything works well, then finish installing the panel back on with all the trim pieces. Make sure all the screws that hold the panel to the door are on tight, and that should complete the job. So as you can see, replacing a bat window motor on a 4th generation Firebird, it's not very complicated, and you can do it in your own garage with hand tools in an hour or two. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.